Hello, welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 250, and this one is going to be a bit different than my usual one. This is just a one-time only thing because 250th episode, I figured why not talk about this. Now, this is a spoiler-filled review of the DC Universe Rebirth Special, number 1. I will also be talking about Bleeding Cool's dumb stuff, and of course Justice League 50 and Superman 52, right? So basically, if you're now, there will be a spoiler tag we put in the title of this video, so anybody who has not read DC Universe, the DC Rebirth Special, put in watch later list and just watch it after you read the issue. Or if you don't care, sorry about that, something was going on, I don't know what it was. Or if you don't care about spoilers, but this is something basically you should definitely read the issue to understand it. Alright, first up, with Bleeding Cool. Why the heck did you leak this thing? Long enough I stayed away from your stupid spoilers. You leaked this issue for no reason at all because it's a good issue. I mean, I think you made this. I mean, this is not the first time you see a book get leaked. Amazing Spider-Man 700 was leaked. So was Batman 17. And, oh yeah, the little fact about what happened with the first issue of Squadron Supreme with Namor dying. Yeah, that was leaked. I don't know why it was leaked. It just was. Okay? Okay, these leaks need to stop happening. Okay, this has happened like 3 or 4 times now. Bleeding Cool, stop leaking stuff. If you're going to release a review of a particular thing, put a spoiler tag on them. At least CBR actually has a decently put spoiler tags, but spoiler and part of the article. Yeah, they actually put spoiler. Like, spoiler. Yeah, that means that don't read this article unless you read the particular thing as reviewing. It's that simple, Bleeding Cool. I don't know why you haven't adapted that in the first place. I mean, it's a few good things you've done, but really, leaking DC Rebirth Special was stupid. Alright, now moving on to the 2 books that kind of led into this particular one-shot. First, Justice League 50. This was actually a really good issue, and it did wrap up the Darkseid War storyline. Now, there is still 2 more issues left to go for this particular volume of Justice League before it ends. This issue was actually really good. The Darkseid character did not come back. Pretty much the biggest thing about this issue is that it was revealed that the Mobius Chair did not reveal the Joker's real name because there's not just one Joker. There are 3 of them. One of whom definitely, by looking at him, it's definitely the one that Scott Snyder used during his run of Batman. The other 2, I think, are the pre-Flashpoint Joker, the one who was appearing in comics from 1986 to 2011. And the third one might be from a couple different places. One is from the Earth 1 line of books that maybe Joker's going to be main villain one of the future Batman Earth 1 trades. But I don't think it's Dark Knight Returns, or it could be Joker of pre-Crisis. That's a possibility because technically he was never officially killed off. The only one actually is declared dead. There's only 2 of them actually declared dead. One is from Dark Knight Returns. The other is from the Earth 2 series in issue 19, where the Thomas Wayne Batman killed the Joker in his second ever appearance. Yep. Now, this was definitely a good issue, and I do highly recommend it, but I would also read the previous, I would say 10 issues. Start from issue 40 and read the Divergence special. Well, basically, the story has been collected in 2 trades. There's Darkseid War Part 1, and it's going to be Part 2 coming up really soon. It's going to pretty much have the remaining issues of the storyline. Also, I recommend the The one shots, they're all really good. Now, Batman got out of the Mobius chair. That's one thing definitely did happen with this issue. And Owlman took the thing. Now, Metron never took back the chair. Owlman was later died at the end of the issue. Now, what happened to Superwoman? She died. Got killed by this new character, by Darkseid's daughter, Grell, who liked to spend half the time sitting down in a cave, butt-ass in the nude. Now, she did the same thing in the Darkseid War special that came out just prior to this particular issue. Now, one thing this particular storyline was the biggest problem with this storyline was not the fact it was 10 issues long, it's its delays. I mean, my God, wow. The delays were so bad with this thing. It's like books were getting delayed at the wazoo. The delay started with issue 45. It was like right after that issue came out, poof, you have issues being delayed like crazy. As a matter of fact, if you look at the entire, like after I believe it was issue 48. Now, Dark War Special was next thing to come out. It was supposed to come out in March, and then issue 49 was going to come out. Didn't happen. Nope. The whole month of March went by, and there was no issue to come out. Because for some reason, Justice League was facing delays, and it was not the only book facing delays. As a matter of fact, several books DC was publishing was facing delays. Books like Batgirl, which is now since concluded, and of course Black Canary. Hopefully Justice League hopefully when New Creative takes over, they can stop with the damn delays. Because twice in this book's history it has suffered through delays. But all in all, good issue, 9 out of 10. Now for the Superman 52. I got interrupted when I last reviewed this issue. Oh, I almost forgot about this. Jessica Cruz gets freed of the power ring and she becomes a Green Lantern. Okay, that's actually I think that happens in yeah, actually that does happen here. And Grid gets and Cyber gets rid of Grid. Now, Power Ring I think probably would go back to the ring itself probably go back to Earth 3. Now, Ultraman is the only one from the Crime Syndicate who's actually still alive. Because with Superwoman and Owlman dead, Ultraman is the only one still left alive because Superwoman got killed by Grell, Owlman got killed by being blown up in a chair, and the majority of the Crime Syndicate was either killed by the Injustice League or their world's version of Lex Luthor. As a matter of fact, he's responsible for killing two of the members. So pretty much as of right now, pretty much almost the entirety of the Crime Syndicate is dead, along with most of the world. And of course, prior to this particular issue, they had killed off the Anti-Monitor. Yep, the Anti-Monitor. They finally killed him off. Okay, fine. Now to move on to Superman 52, which was the conclusion to the last days of Superman's story. This storyline was originally promoted as Super League. Boy, was that a complete lie when I read Superman 51, which was the start of this particular storyline. Yeah, the whole promotion that this 8-part storyline was going to be Super League was a complete lie. Yes. Not the first time solicits have lied, but this storyline was good. I mean, P.O.J. Tomasi made some people who actually despise this interpretation of Superman actually care about him because he was written appropriately and he was dying. And of course, he had referenced stuff in the opening part of the storyline. Things stuff like Darkseid War, the whole thing with Doom and Savage Dawn, like all the really bad stuff that's happened to him over the past few years. Basically, he did reference the opening issue. The storyline was really good. One of the highlights of the storyline was the return of Supergirl, who had been gone for the past year. It was so good seeing her. You also got some seeds planted for the Trinity series. This storyline also ended the Batman Superman series and the Superman Wonder Woman series. Both concluded with this particular storyline. With Batman Superman, it was issue 32. With Superman Wonder Woman, issue 29, which was an odd number in that anyways. But this finale, and this storyline actually promised something that was going to be in the 50th issue of Superman. What was the thing they promised? That the new 52 Superman was going to meet the Superman in the previous universe. They met briefly. Yes, this was supposed to happen issue 50, but apparently that was a big fat lie. He did meet him briefly, but the main villain of the storyline was, I think anybody who's reading the storyline, the main villain was not very good. He was very boring. He was the major weakness of this storyline, was the main villain, who was thinking, a guy who was thinking he was Superman, and he had the power of this solar flare thing. Which, in itself, when I first heard about this, that Superman was going to get a new power, it is possibly by far the dumbest thing that happened to him. And plus, he did get a new costume. New costume that didn't last too long. Yep. Yeah, the new costume didn't last too long because right after the Before Truth storyline, he ended up going to the t-shirt and jeans, which he held for like almost a year until he got his suit, to got his costume back. But even though he got his powers back, because of the whole thing what happened in Savage on him being exposed to kryptonite, so much of it, that even though he got his powers back, he was dying. So at the end of the storyline, the new 52 man died, turned to stone. Now, what do I think will happen to him? I think that he will probably be, well, he's definitively dead. Yeah, he's dead. What they might do with him? My guess, they're probably gonna bury him they're probably gonna put him someplace where they're probably gonna put his remains someplace where they won't touch anything. They'll probably either put it in 2 or 3 places. One, they'll probably put it in the Watchtower, probably in like cold storage to find something to do with it. Another one, they could bury it just outside the fortress. 3, they could bury it inside the fortress. Or 4, bury him in Metropolis. Yeah. One thing I'm hoping, though, because the storyline's over with, that I'm hoping that pre-Flashpoint Lois meets New 52 Lois. And the one thing I think everybody is hoping that she'll do is pre-Flashpoint Lois slap Lois, the New 52 Lois Lane, across the face for outing Superman, for outing Clark Kent as Superman. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. I'm sure they're going to meet. There's going to be a slap match. There's going to be a slap. Probably a lot of yelling. And eventually they're probably going to be friends. Okay? Because it's going to be kind of weird. I mean, it's one thing to have 2 Supermen running around. But 2 Lois Lanes. That's completely something else altogether. But this was actually a really good storyline. Very well serialized. And the book also not only has set some stuff that was explored in Trinity, but also Supergirl and what's probably going to happen to Superman right after the events of with the Rebirth thing. So I give the storyline 9 out of 10, and I give the finale a 9 out of 10. Great storyline. Now they move on to DC Rebirth Special. The biggest thing now, the whole thing of who's coming back. It's Wally West. And it's pre-Flashpoint Wally West. Now, they did kind of a retcon with him, where that he was the New 52 Wally West. It was his cousin, and Daniel West was his father. Oh, and there's something else. He's Lois's brother, not Lois. He's Iris's brother. Now, I do have a theory behind this. The reason why I think they changed it to where Wally from pre-Flashpoint was Iris's brother is because Wally is Iris's brother on the Flash. Okay, fine. But that was an interesting little plot twist, and the fact that both had the name Wally West, and they both named after their grandfather. Typical. It's actually really ingenious. Wally is running around trying to get people to remember him. He went to Batman. He went to Teen Titans. Eventually, Barry pulled him out of the Speed Force. Apparently, he'd been trapped in the Speed Force for a decade. Okay. But apparently, Wally had been de-aged, and he was wearing his Kid Flash costume. I'm hoping... Now, I've heard that he is going to be putting on the regular Flash costume And he's going to be regularly appearing in the pages of Titans, which is going to be written by Dan Abbott and art by Brett Booth, while the Black Wally West is going to be appearing in the pages of Teen Titans. Okay, so you have two Wally Wests running around. I don't have a problem with that. My friend Tim, basically, he really wanted this Wally to come back so badly. He's back now. But he also wants his kids to come back. Okay. I think eventually they'll probably bring his kids back. Maybe they'll do it in the pages of Titans. It's a possibility what to do with it. The Johnny Thunder. Yeah, and he was actually one of the people that Kid Flash ran into, Wally ran into. And he was calling for his Thunderbolt. I was so happy to see him because I hadn't seen him since the end of the Justice Society America series that ended 5 years ago. So, happy to see him. And Dr. Fate. Now, this is pre-Flashpoint Dr. Fate. Not the one who appears in the Dr. Fate series that's going right now. And definitely not the one who appears in Earth 2. This is Kent V. Nelson, the original Dr. Fate's great nephew. It's great to see the guy. Do I think the JSA probably will appear in the current universe? Definitely. Who am I hoping to write the series if it comes back? I mean, there's a theory rolling around that it might be Jeff Johns. It's a possibility because the series is planning to make a return. Now, what about the Earth 2 Society title? That's been continued as Earth 2. But who knows if it's good enough. They're keeping the creative team a secret for now. But, apparently, and also, they killed off Pandora in the issue. Now, I haven't seen this character in almost 2 years. So, it's interesting, though, that you have a character who has not been seen since the end of her ongoing series, and the best thing you can do with the character is to kill her off. Now, I get the fact Johns did create the character because she did make her first appearance in the final issue of Flashpoint. Okay, fine. So having Johns kill her off, don't have a problem with that. Because it's kind of the same thing with when Crisis on Infinite Earths happened. The character Cole, who was creation of Mark Wolf and George Perez, they killed her off for Crisis on Infinite Earths. And according to interviews, both of them regretted killing her off. But in the case of Johns, I have not heard anything him say he's regretting killing off Pandora because not a lot of people like the character. And her ongoing series is very short-lived. It only lasted 14 issues. And had a Future's End special. That's it. Though, I would like to wonder, though, what the heck has she been up to since the end of her ongoing series? And she's by far the only character to die in this issue. The one thing I agree with Linkara on this is very weird. So apparently the Scarab that Jaime Reyes uses apparently has been retconned to being from magic and not alien technology. I'm like, what? Now, I agree with him on that because that is a dumb retcon. Changing the fact that Scarab has been alien technology since, I don't know, the 80s? And then changes to magic? Why? What's the whole purpose of changing the magic? Completely unexplained. Maybe Kip Giffen will actually change it back to being alien technology when the Blue Beetle Rebirth title comes out. Which I'm looking forward to reading. I probably will get it when it comes out. Anything else? Let's see. Batman is investigating the whole thing with the three Jokers. So that's not exactly a big spoiler for that because that was already established in just like 50. But it's nice the fact he's investigating that. But the biggest thing about this issue is apparently the person behind the New 52 is Dr. Manhattan. Okay, so the way it looks for this Rebirth special is that the Watchmen characters are being incorporated into regular DC Universe. And one noteworthy of this is that Batman, I'm not sure where he got this from, apparently he's digging through some rock and he pulls out a button. When I saw this, I'm like, that's from the Watchmen because it's a smiley face button with a blood stain on it. Yeah. Those of you who had read the series Watchmen, that happened in the very first issue of the series. Now, when the comedian was killed off in the first issue. I know it's a spoiler because the series been out for like over almost 30 years now, so it's not a really big spoiler. The chameleon gets killed off in the first issue, and he's wearing that button on his bathrobe. Which I tend to wonder though, how the heck did that? There's a couple of questions I like to ask about this. One, how did Batman know that was there? And two, how did it get there? I'm hoping maybe this might be explored in one of the Rebirth one-shots when it comes out in the next few months. This overall was a great one-shot. And bringing back the classic Wally West was a brilliant stroke of genius. I'm sure even Jeff Johns was not happy with the fact that he was gone in the first place because he actually wrote Wally West. Yeah. Excuse me. Excuse me. In case you don't know, some people don't know that if you look at the Flash by Jeff Johns trades, that's Wally West he wrote, not Barry Allen. He did later write Barry Allen, which makes him one of like 2 or 3 writers to write both Barry Allen and Wally West as the Flash. But as for what Wally's Flash costumes look like, who knows? But at least at the teenage Wally West, when he's black, at least he's going to be Kid Flash. Yeah. But I am looking forward to all the Rebirth stuff that's coming out soon. I mean, especially like the Batman stuff, Blue Beetle. I'm looking forward to seeing Nightwing going back to the blue and black, because they really kind of harp on that at the Rebirth panel. That when they unveiled the creative teams, they harped on that a lot. That he was going back to blue and red, the blue and black. I'm happy he's going back to that. I love him when he's wearing that outfit. I thought it was okay when they changed his outfit, when they switched out the blue to red, but the line thing, which I'm kind of glad they got rid of some of the costumes that really were kind of odd-putting, like giving characters collars, which, from what I can tell, now the only character who actually, from look at their costume, actually had the best looking costume is Batman. Batman and Green Lantern had the best looking costumes. Why? Because they're just changed. I mean, Hal Jordan's been the same since the 50s. So he basically underwent no change at all. Batman has gone through many different costumes. Him getting a new costume is perfectly fine. And plus, I love the yellow outline, the bat logo, which is on his costume, and it has a yellow outline to it. Not like the big circle thing that Neil Adams gave him back in the 70s, but this is still great. It's a nod to continuity, which I appreciate Greg Capullo doing for the costume when the costume first debuted back in Batman 50, which, by the way, came out 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago. So, overall, this was actually a really good one-shot, despite a couple hiccups. Great one-shot. I highly recommend people to actually not only get the one-shot, but also try to get their own perspective on it. It doesn't have any... The only thing bad about it is the whole thing with the whole retcon thing, with the whole thing with the Blue Beetle's Scarab being changed from alien technology to magic. Yeah, that's the only change that really makes no sense. But otherwise, though, all the changes, everything there was great, and I'm looking forward to your stuff. So that's all I want to say about this particular one shot. Stay tuned for episode. So that's it for this particular episode. Stay tuned for episode 251 and Double Shot 183, which is going to be back to the graphic novels very next episode. But I felt as though, because this is my 250th episode of the series and Rebirth just came out, I figured this would be appropriate for this particular episode. Some might think, oh, maybe I'll save this for my 300th. No, this is perfectly fine the way it is. So, until then, until I see you for 251, till then, see you there. Bye.